Hello everyone, welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott. How's everybody doing today? A little chilly out today. Feels like it's 40s, maybe 50. Kind of chilly enough to have to wear this. Anyhow, I am out in my shipping container, which is now also my storage shed and my workshop. It's a 20-foot deep. I've got stuff that goes. This is where I keep my tools, all my other stuff that I use around the house. And today I want to talk about, your EDC, your bug out bag, or your bob, or your flea bag, or whatever. And I go through mine on a regular basis. It's part of my preventive maintenance. It's part of what I do, but I make sure my gear's in good order. It's never a good idea to build a bob or a flea bag or whatever you want to call it and then stick it in some corner and never look at it again. I try to go through mine at least on a monthly basis because there's a couple reasons. One is things sometimes break just sitting there. A flashlight, if you've kept the batteries in it, and it leaks a little bit, the batteries corrode, now you can't get the batteries out and the flashlight doesn't work. Or sometimes the bulb, something happens with the bulb. I mean, I have pulled things out and they just don't work. And so it's always a good idea to kind of go back through and make sure all your stuff is in good working order. The other thing, and I'm going to touch on this today a little bit, is you've got to look at technology, and I'm going to show you an example and then kind of give you a feel for how quickly things are changing. So today I'm out here and I'm pulling a few things out of one of my storage containers, back that one right there, and I'm going to bring it in and reincorporate it back into my bob. I kind of do this. Sometimes I'll put things in, sometimes I'll take things out, but the idea is that you always kind of have the best that you can work with. And so, which is, staying alive. Now, my bob, even my bob or my flea bags, none of them ever get real heavy. I try not to ever exceed 20 pounds. More than that, it's just too much. I don't want to carry it. I don't want to, drag it around. In fact, one of the things I'm doing today is I used to keep a bag that I carried around with me that would carry some extra stuff in it, but then I started putting my bob stuff in it. And then what I was discovering is I quit carrying my bag, my everyday bag, because it got too heavy and I would just keep it in the truck. And I said, well, really I need to have that bag with me more often. Now, do I carry it with me everywhere I go? The answer is no. But is it never far away? The answer is yes. But if it's a lighter bag and easier to throw around, I'm more likely to have it on me. So I've kind of separated the stuff out a little bit, and now I'm going to have a separate bag that'll be my bob slash flea bag, and I'll keep that in my truck all the time. And that's just what I'll do. And then my little bag that I tote in and out, I'll use to carry around all the little stuff I use day to day. So that's my current plan on how I'm going to do that. And what that does, it lets me put some more things into the bob that I wasn't carrying in my little, I call it my flea bag or my everyday bag. And it'll make life a little easier for me. And I'll leave enough space in that bug out bag that if I have to run, that I can take the stuff that's in my little flea bag and dump it into my bob and just have one backpack and go. So that's my plan. So today I'm kind of going to do a pocket dump and talk about some of the things I carry today and versus maybe what I've carried in the past. Like I said, it's a good idea to always go through your stuff and figure out what you need. One of the things I don't like is I don't like having lots of things in my pockets. I don't like the bulkiness of it. I don't like the weight. I don't like sticking my hand in my pocket and having all this stuff in there. So I'm always trying to lighten my load a little bit and just carry what I need and what I use. Typically, I do things by use, and that is, if I use it a lot, then it needs to be in my pockets. If I don't use it a lot, then maybe it needs to be in one of my bags. And so today I'm going to go through my everyday carry, things that are with me absolutely every time I leave the house. And we'll start with my pockets. In this pocket, of course, I got my car keys. I always carry those with me, even if we're going in the wife's car. I always have my keys with me just in case she loses hers. So every time I leave the house, those car keys are with me. The other thing I carry, and I vacillate with this, but currently I'm carrying a little Bic lighter. I either carry, this is the little minis, or I carry a regular sized. Since I don't smoke anymore, I don't have a lot of need for them, and I vacillate between carrying a lighter and not carrying a lighter. In the past, you've seen me carry a Zippo lighter, which is really my preferred lighter, but I have to refill that once a week, and I don't hardly use it, but having fire is always a good thing. So this little one is a compromise for me, or even the standard size Bic. That's a good compromise. I have a little bit of fire with me, and it doesn't take up a lot of room in my pocket. All right, moving to my other pocket. First thing I have is my wallet. It's one of those minimalist wallets. I really like them. One of my sons kind of turned me on to them about a year or so ago, and since I've gotten that, I won't carry a leather wallet anymore. These little ones you can carry in your front pocket. They're very lightweight, don't take up a lot of space. You don't fill it up with a bunch of stuff you don't need, so it doesn't get real big and bulky, but I really like it. The other thing I carry in my pocket is a little Fisher Space Pen, and you pull this apart, and then there's the pen. Flip it around and you have a little pen to write with. This is what they call the Space Pen. It's got a pressurized cartridge. It'll write underwater. It'll write on anything. It's a permanent ink. It's an archival quality ink. They call it the Space Pen because they developed this when we started going into space back in the 60s. Most of my pens today are of this type, maybe not this style, but it uses the space cartridge. It's really a great pen to have, and I keep that in my pocket. Again, you can see it's less than the size of my index finger, and so it's just, it disappears in my pocket. And then the other thing I carry is I carry a pocket knife, and it's not a lock blade. It's what they call a slip joint. This is what they call a medium jack, and the reason why it's called a jackknife is it's got two blades. It's got this clip blade, and then it's got what's called a pen blade. And what makes this a jackknife is that both blades are hinged on the same side, on the same bolster. If you have them where there's one on each side, then it's called a pen knife. I am a wealth of useless information, but I do like the jackknife, and this knife does everything I need to do, really. The only time I might swap this out is if I'm going into a more hazardous area, or if my alert level bumps up a little bit, then I might move into one of my lock blades. And my current favorite lock blade is a Benchmade Bug Out, again because it's light and it just slips in my pocket and disappears. But for my general use, I've used these for years. I've carried a Swiss Army knife for many years, but I don't need a bottle opener or can opener anymore, and so I just don't use it. And so I carry this knife, or a Swiss Army knife. I still have a couple of those, and like I said, I'll go to a bigger knife if the threat level goes up. So that's what I carry in my pants pockets. Now, in my shirt pocket, I have a cell phone, which I'm using today kind of as a monitor. This is over a GoPro camera, but I use my cell phone as a monitor so I can kind of see, make sure I'm at least still in the frame. There's a little bit of a delay between the GoPro and my phone, but it at least lets me know that, I'm framed properly. And so I carry my cell phone. And again, you're more likely to see me with a cell phone in my pocket than my wallet sometimes. But one thing I do carry with me is a little notebook. This is a 16 or 20 page notebook. In reality, it lasts a very long time. But when you need a piece of paper, nothing beats a piece of paper. And so I use this to write notes on. I can rip out a section and give somebody my phone number if they don't do the phone thing anymore. But I carry this, partly because it's just good, because you can take a note, you can leave a note. But it's partly how I was trained. Back when I was in the Army, we had a very simple motto, an idiom or an axiom, whatever you want to call it. And what we used to say and what we used to tell our members of our squad or whatever, that if you really want to make it in the Army, you just have to learn how to be in the proper place at the proper time and in the proper uniform. If you can handle that much, you can pretty much survive in the Army. However, once you become an NCO, then you had to add a pen or pencil and a piece of paper. So for E4 and below, there was the 3 P's. For E5 and above, there was the 5. E5 and above, there were the 5 P's. And so since that time, I've always carried a pen and a piece of paper. Even if I folded a piece of paper and stuck it in my wallet and had a pen, I always had something to write on, because when you're an NCO, when you're a sergeant, you never know when somebody's going to give you some type of order and you have to take notes so you can prepare your squad or your platoon or whatever to get ready. And that can happen at any time. And so we always kept that. Now, the last piece of kit I want to talk about, and we're going to talk about the kind of the technology thing. The other thing that I always carry with me all the time is a flashlight. And I used to have one clipped that I would clip like a lock blade knife on the side of my pocket. But over Thanksgiving weekend, Olight had a Black Friday sale, and they were giving away a free flashlight. And so I took advantage of that. I didn't have to buy anything. However, I saw this other light, and I thought it was so cool that I would get one and try it out. I think it cost me $9. It was on sale. But anyhow, let me show you the light. This is the light. I keep it on a dog tag chain. I hardly know it's there. It's very small. It uses a rechargeable battery. You recharge it with a micro USB port. However, it's got 2 settings. This is low, so you can see low. Okay, and then this is holy cow. This is holy cow high. And it is really a bright little light. And so I bought it, and I really like it because I can slip it over my neck. It's always with me. Even if I don't have my phone or my wallet, I can have this because it's around my neck. I put it on when I get up in the morning, and I take it off when I go to bed at night. Now, when I was in the Army, I wore dog tags pretty much 24 hours a day. So if I really wanted to, I could wear this all the time. It's that unobtrusive on your body. To charge it, you just unscrew it, and it pops open, and there's a little micro USB port, and that's it. And what makes it great is because in my little bag that I carry around with me, I have ways to recharge my phone. And so if I can recharge my phone, I can recharge this. And and one of the batteries I have actually has a little solar panel on it. So I can have eternal light. But I really, really like this little light. In fact, I may have to get some for Christmas presents because they're so good. But I wanted to talk about why it pays to check, the technology. Back in the 70s, the best flashlights were C cells and D cells. And then probably late 70s, Maglite came out with the 2AA mini Maglite. And that was the cat's meow. Like I said, somewhere 1978 or 77, 76 is when they came out with that light. And it was a cat's meow. It was bright, it was focused, it was durable, it was waterproof. Up until then, we didn't have that in a small package. And I'm going to say that that particular light, the mini Maglite, reigned king for over 20, maybe even 25 years. And so for a long time, you never thought about looking for technology because it was a mini Maglite. That was it. That was still the best game in town. However, over these last 5 or 10 years, people have taken notice about flashlights, and now you get something this size, which is probably about a fifth or a sixth the size of a mini Maglite, and it's 3 or 4 times as bright. And probably the battery will last long, especially in the low setting. So, you know, when you go through your bobs, when you go through your EDCs, when you go through your stuff, it doesn't hurt to do a little checking to see if there's not something better out there, because this is really, really good. And you know, I don't normally review stuff, but this was such a good idea that I wanted to share it. And the company's Olight, Olight. And I think the retail price for it's about 15 bucks. I think I got it for $9.95. It's just a great little light. And I'm hoping it's going to last for, I've only had it for a couple of weeks, but like I said, I wear it every day and I use it a lot. It's small enough you can stick it in your mouth. And so I like it. So that's really all I have for today. I wanted to, kind of go through some of the things I'm doing. Encourage you to go through your bob, encourage you to use the stuff that's in your bob to make sure it works the way you want it to, and take care of yourselves. Be vigilant, be aware, be alert. Stay safe and stay secure. We'll see you.